What do I mean by divine and distorted masculine and feminine energies? Let's define that so that what I'm talking about makes sense, right? There's a lot of people using this terminology, divine, feminine, and masculine, right? And they're using that in reference to unhealed energies. Are we all from divine energy? Absolutely, yes. However, much of how we're functioning on this planet is distortion. So, when I'm talking about divine feminine or masculine energy, I'm talking about the soul's alignment of that energy, the highest expression of what it means to be in healthy masculine energy or healthy feminine energy. This isn't about how masculine or feminine you are, right? It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with if you are showing up in an energy that is a reflection of conscious soul alignment and expression of those energies, right? The distortion is the unhealed version, right? And that's why I call it a distortion, because we're wanting to align with the divine essence of self, right? But when we're wounded, that expression becomes a distortion of that energy. So that's when I talk about these different wounded patterns, right? Or acting from emotionally unhealed space. This is speaking on the distortion that's happened through both social and personal conditionings throughout time and present, right? So we've created distorted identities of these different expressions, right? So when I say the distorted masculine, for example, I'm talking about the distortion of identity that we've seen show up culturally. So then when I talk about, oh, the distorted masculine is in take energy, for example, right? That is how the wounded masculine shows up until they've done the internal work to align with the frequency of true divine masculine, right? So this is not like you're either distorted or you're divine, right? The distortion is the journey of aligning with what is inherently divine in your own being, right? And so again, this is energy in your own being. So, anchoring the soul alignment of your feminine energy, your masculine energy, right? And then anchoring in that foundation of self. That becomes your own divine soul's alignment, right? And I'm using the word divine, and let's not get lost in what that means either. What I'm talking about divine is, I mean cosmic consciousness, meaning we are all stars, meaning we are all divine beings in a human vessel, right? You are not locked out from divinity. Nobody holds the key to your divinity except for you. So when you do your healing and remove yourself from a place of distortion and align into divine frequency, then you align with that energy, and then you also call that energy into your own life. You won't attract a divine masculine partner if you're not in your divine feminine energy, right? It's an embodiment of that energy. And this is the same, concept when I'm talking about manifesting or womanifesting, right? You're wanting to create something in your life, but you're creating from a place of distortion because you're not truly aligned within yourself, spiritually, emotionally, physically, right? Then you create a distorted identity of what you're calling in, right? Because you're in a distorted identity of yourself. This is why I talk about people are, again, in a silly little bypassing reality of talking about manifestation. Manifestation doesn't happen physically. The physical expression is energetic consciousness materializing, right? And this is how we end up too in a place of not recognizing blessings, right? Because we ask for something, the universe brings it to us, and we don't even know how to handle it, right? You will actually turn something positive away for your life if you're not aligned with the frequency of what's coming in for you. So if you're over here praying, for the perfect man who treats you right and does all this stuff for you, or whatever your whatever you're creating, he's going to take care of me. He's going to be this type of dude, whatever kind of reality you're saying, right? This is the man I'm manifesting. Let's say this man actually shows up in your life and you're emotionally wounded, right? As soon as he enters your field, guess what? He's gone. An emotionally mature man is not going to waste his time with women who are unhealed, right? He's already done the work. You can't even hold space for him. You can't even hold the frequency of what you're calling in. This is where the if only energy comes up, right? Oh, if only I had a good man, then I would be happy, right? A good man in his power doesn't want a woman who's relying on him to make her happy, right? I'm using this as an example, right? This goes both ways. This is why healed women do not have time or energy to waste on dating. Unhealed men think this type of woman, is cold or wants to be alone, or she's never gonna find a man, right? No, she knows her worth. She doesn't have time and energy to be wasting with dudes who can't show up for her, right? We can see that the second you show up in our field. Nope, I'm so good. I'm so good, right? Nobody wants to be alone, right? We're connective creatures, right? We're social beings. We need human interaction, touch, right? Affection. We need those experiences, right? And this was like a really hilarious journey for me of being the next level of my conscious connection journey, right? I was deepening my relationship, have been deepening my relationship to what and who is important to me, right? What and who is in my life, where I'm giving my time and energy. And it's so funny how many people would say things to me like, well, you still need to get your needs met, right? This is the term that people use, getting your needs met. And again, this is like a frivolous, instant gratification needs met. That's what it actually is. Getting temporary needs met, perpetuating unhealthy cycles, is actually not getting your needs met, right? That's just me feeling emotional instant gratification or physical needs so I can stay in an okay place that's an unhealed environment, right? Getting my needs met, right, was me choosing me, was me saying, you know what, I'm no longer outsourcing my mind, body, or heart or spirit to people who do not see, value, appreciate, or honor my being. It's not me getting my needs met. That's me giving my power away to someone who doesn't matter, who doesn't deserve me, who doesn't deserve my body, who doesn't deserve my heart. Yeah, I'm not being cold. I'm being real. That's me protecting my being. You think I'm going to get my needs met by getting some meaningless attention from some dude who's boasting ego to try to make me feel good or whatever? It's such a delusion. My needs are prioritizing my health, my life, my body, my spirit, my mind, and not sharing that with people who are unworthy of what I have to offer. And when I say unworthy, I mean those that do not honor, respect, and cherish what I am and who I am, right? Me giving myself to men who do not deserve me is not getting my needs met, right? How much of my time and energy have I given to people who don't deserve it? Way too much. Way too much. If you can't meet me in frequency, you won't come near me. You won't come near me. You're not welcome near me. You're not. I've done the work. That's what it means to claim yourself. That's what it means to own your own life, your own energy, your own time, right? Nobody owns my time. I own my time. Nobody has access to my energy, right? unless I open that doorway and we're connecting and reciprocity, right? My life is too important. I don't have time for games. I don't have time for unhealed little boys. I don't have time for friends who don't have my back. I don't have time for people in my life who don't believe in me. These are choices. It's not an accident. These are choices, right? When you claim yourself and you truly stop abandoning yourself and you truly hold that place in your own heart, you don't need to worry about others abandoning you anymore. You don't need to worry about the fear of, if I act fully in my true self, people are going to walk out of my life. Because guess what? If you walked out of my life while I spoke my truth, then you were never meant to be in my life. You were never going to show up for me in my truth, right? Because as soon as I acted within my authentic self, you walked away. I stopped accommodating you. So you disappeared. So you were never meant to come with me, right? How much of your life are you spending in accommodation of other people? How many of your choices are you making based on somebody else's opinion, perspective, or life? What are you using as an excuse to not find happiness in your own life? It's a choice. You can sit in fear and blame and wounding and keep attracting the same type of dynamics, the same type of people who take advantage of you, don't respect you, don't value your time, minimize everything you say, right? That was my reality. Do you know how many people I have had in my life who have minimized my dreams, my vision, who have listened to me and tried to crush my dreams because they can't see their own? Those aren't people I keep in my life anymore. I had to choose myself. I had to choose that I was worth better relationships. If I have this much belief in myself, why am I keeping people in my life who don't believe in me? Why would I keep people in my life who hear my dreams and then compartmentalize them into a tiny little box that their mind can comprehend? As long as it's not greater than where I put you in my mind, right? I want you to succeed as long as it's within the framework that I see you. I stopped sharing greatness with people, right? I literally stopped sharing joy with people. That's how sad it is. Like, truly, that's how sad it is out there. And that's when you really have to have that moment with yourself. Like, you know what? I am sharing these joyful things about my life and my transformation and what I've chosen for myself. And the people around me are looking at that and can't see or participate in that joy, that they're just taking it as a personal self-reflection of their own suffering, right? Those are people who don't want to take accountability for their own journey, right? Those are people who don't want to take responsibility for change in their life.